Hey guys, I'm Abby, and welcome back to One Code Camp channel. Today, we continue to explore more about MongoDB. This time, we will analyze and optimize query performance using MongoDB Compass. Let's do it! In our indexes episode in MongoDB, we have used the explain method and passed in a string argument, execution stats. But we haven't really explained that. We just used it to see how indexing can be helpful, right? Here, let's learn more about the explain method. Explain method provides statistics about the performance of a query. These statistics can be useful in measuring if and how a query uses an index. Let's review what we did previously. Let's use our music library database and our songs collection. Let us look at the following documents. If we try to retrieve the documents using the find method, where the rating field has a value between 7 and 10, the query will return the following documents. So that's rating. I want it to be greater than or equal to 7, but less than or equal to 10. Okay, and it will return us the following documents. And there are more documents if we use it or iterate, but let's leave that for now. To view the query plan selected, we will use the explain method to the end of the find command. Inside, we will attach the string execution stats. And that explain returns the following results. So we have here query planner, and we have the winning plan stage, which is call scan or collection scan, to indicate a collection scan. Collection scan indicates that the Mongo database had to scan the entire collection, document by document, to identify the results. This is generally expensive operation and can result in slow queries. The execution stats. Here we have the execution success and returned, total docs examined. So the end return, it will display 21 to indicate that the query matches and returns 21 documents. And the total keys examined displays 0 to indicate that this query is not using an index. And the total docs examined displays 71 to indicate that MongoDB had to scan all 71 documents to find the 21 matching documents. The difference between the number of matching documents and the number of examined documents may suggest that improve efficiency, the query might benefit from the use of an index. To support the query on the rating field, we can add an index to that field. So to add an index or to create an index, we should type in DB, then the name of the collection, then dot create index. And then inside, we can type in rating 1. Right, now we have created the index for rating. For us to view the query plan statistics, we can again use the explain method. So here, we will use the find method again, using that same command. So we want it to be greater than or equal to 7, but less than or equal to 10. And then we will chain the explain execution stats to that. And here, it will return us the following results. Up here, you will be able to see the query planner. And then here, the winning plan stage, fetch. So this input stage displays IXScan to indicate index use. The end returned displays 21 to indicate that the query matches and returns 21 documents. And then the total is examined displays 21 as well to indicate that MongoDB scanned 21 index entries. The number of keys examined match the number of documents returned, meaning that the Mongo only had to examine index keys to return the results. It did not have to scan all of the documents, and only the matching documents had to be pulled into memory. This results in a very efficient query. Then the total docs examined also displays 21 to indicate that MongoDB scanned 21 documents. Without index, the query would scan the whole collection of 71 documents to return 21 matching documents. The query also had to scan the entirety of each document, potentially pulling them into memory. This results in an expensive and potentially slow query operation. When run with an index, the query scanned 21 index entries and 21 documents to return 21 matching documents, resulting in a very efficient query. Again, we've discussed this in our index series, but here I am just explaining to you how to analyze our results with and without indexing. Let us clear our screen first. Now, we have been passing execution stats to our explain. However, you can pass in other parameters in there. So let us first drop our index for now so that we can see those parameters. Okay, so first, we can actually leave it blank, but we will have lesser info. And if we pass in false, it will have the same results as that without a parameter inside. Okay, and we can also use or pass in true, and it will give us more results. Here we have the query planner, execution stats, all pans, execution, server info, and others. Okay, and then you can also specify query planner. This should be in quotation marks. And then we will actually have that query planner. Okay, so that will be specified, and that will be the only thing, along with the others as well. But if we use execution stats, we will have the execution stats there along with the query planner. So if you want them both, it is better to pass in execution stats. That's why we also always use execution stats. So we can also pass in all plans execution, and it will have that there as well. Okay, so you have those options, but mostly we used execution stats because that's the most complete in the explain method. Okay, so now we have been using our MongoDB shell, but how do we do that explain method in our MongoDB Compass? So let us explore that as well. So right now, we are viewing this as a list. So we can also view it as a JSON file or we can view it as tables. Okay, so here we have these tables, and it will appear like this in MongoDB Compass. So if we type in the following query, so it will be a rating, and then we want it again to be greater than or equal to 7, but less than or equal to 10. It will retrieve the documents where the rating is between 7 and 10, inclusive. And the query will return us the following documents. And it shows us that we have 21 documents of that query. Now, to view the query plan selected, we can click on the Explain tab for our current collection. And then we have here the query performance summary. Now it will show us that it is a call scan or a collection scan because we have dropped that index before exploring the MongoDB Compass capabilities for Explain. And because we are working with such a small dataset for the purpose of this tutorial, the actual query execution time displays 0 seconds, even though we are not using an index. In larger dataset, which I showed you in our previous video in indexing, the difference in query execution time between an indexed query versus a non-indexed query would be much more substantial. So here, we are viewing it in the visual tree, but we can also view it in raw JSON. In raw JSON, it will be similar with how it looks like when we use the MongoDB shell. Okay, so again, the results are the same. The difference between the number of matching documents and the number of examined documents may suggest that to improve efficiency, the query might benefit from the use of an index. So we can also create an index right inside of here in our MongoDB Compass. In our previous video, indexing, and here, earlier, we've been using the MongoDB shell. So now let's learn how to create indexes or create an index using MongoDB Compass. So to do that, let us go to Indexes tab, and then let's click Create Index. We can select here the index fields that we want, and again, we will make use of rating, so that's what we are going to select. And then we can select a type. We can select ascending, descending, 2D sphere, or text. So here, we've been using 1 for ascending, so that's what we'll be using here as well. And after that, after we have selected those two, we can have other options here. You can check those or explore it on your own time, but for now, we will leave it unchecked. And then after that, we can now click on Create Index. Index rating, and now we will see that rating index that we have just created. So you can see all the indexes that you've created right here in the Indexes tab. And then to return to our documents, we can just go to the Documents tab, and we will just rerun the query from our previous step, which is we still want to find the ratings greater than or equal to 7, but less than or equal to 10, and then click on Find. And then MongoDB Compass will be displaying these 21 documents again. But if we analyze it using our Explain tab, so again, we are viewing this in the visual tree, and it will display the query stages, fetch, and IX scan. So IX scan indicates that the MongoDB used an index to satisfy the query before executing the fetch stage and retrieving the documents. And we can see that our documents returned displays 21 to indicate that the query matches and returns 21 documents. And it showed us that it used our created index, which is rating 1. And here on the right-hand side, under Query Performance Summary, our documents returned displays 21 still, just like in returned here in Fetch and IXScan. And then there are also 21 docs examined. So MongoDB scanned all 21 documents. The and index keys examined is also 21 because MongoDB scanned 21 index entries. The number of keys examined match the number of documents returned, meaning that MongoDB only had to examine index keys to return the results. It didn't have to scan all of the documents again, just like what we have explained using our MongoDB shell. And only the 21 matching documents had to be pulled into memory. This results in a very efficient query. We can also explore more in this drop-downs. And if we view it in raw output, viewed in a JSON format, just like what we have been seeing in MongoDB Shell. In the next videos, we will talk more about MongoDB. We will develop the skills to write efficient queries and perform complex data analysis. See you in the next videos.